Hello and welcome to your first ever update from the Group Isolation Network, providing daily audio snippets to help get us through these difficult times. I'm Yarek Zaber and here's what's going to happen. Each evening at around 6 o'clock I'll be uploading one of these wee little audio packages that will largely consist of you, the Group Isolation Network, providing me with answers on a topic or theme that will change each week. This week's topic is what are some of the unexpected bonuses of a global pandemic. The Group Isolation Network, or GIN for short, will also be delivering a more comprehensive show every Friday. This will be where I get a global perspective, speaking to people from a different country each week. I'll be having a freelancer focus where we provide an opportunity for someone self-employed to promote their talents and share tips with one another. And my personal favourite, Fuge on Film. That's my weekly catch-up with highly esteemed cinema critic and close personal friend of mine, John Fuge. He'll be advising you on films old and new that you can dive into to get you through all those hours locked up indoors. And so to today's topic, what are some of the unexpected bonuses, the surprising silver linings of COVID-19? Answers to this have been coming in all day, so thank you to all of my GIN contributors. Just to warn you, these aren't typical podcast interviews. I'm collecting a lot of this audio in the Community Brains Great Hall. Now, if you don't know what that is, think of a kind of self-isolation chat room. So, the audio quality will vary. You will hear dogs and babies barking in the background. Well, the babies won't be barking. The dogs will be barking mostly. The babies will be making other noises. And you'll also hear other members of the chat room just chipping in every now and again with their own feedback and suggestions. I wouldn't have it any other way personally, so enjoy!
I think an unexpected bonus for me has been seeing the amount of community groups and networks that have all popped up to make sure everyone's there for each other. And I've also really enjoyed watching the number of online live streaming of artists, particularly in sort of Luciano drawing this morning and things like that.
I think, a real unexpected bonus has just been able to see the ways in which, as Charlie said, communities come together, but how people's existing creativity allows them to actually think about ways in which we can come together as communities without actually having that physical space. So I think something, obviously we're looking at the greening side of ShedX, about how we can encourage people to grow from home, and then ultimately when we do emerge out of this, think about, how can we continue to come together and sort of work on those things that we've been doing by ourselves to come and plant together as a community when we finally emerge out of this on the other side.
I wouldn't echo what other people have said about watching the community groups spring up even weeks ago with various Facebook groups which popped up out of nowhere with thousands of people offering support, wanting to be there for each other. I think that the fact that those groups existed is perhaps not surprising, but just the sheer number of people who have joined them. Other things which I think positive that come out of this, I think it's going to change the nature of work forever. I know employers differ, but I've noticed at my place, management have kind of swept in and said that we know you've got loads of other stuff going on and we know your family's a higher priority than work, and it's okay not to be 100% available and to put work on the back burner. To do shopping, to look after people, to do childcare. And no one's expecting you to be a perfect employee as well as a perfect parent. It's just not possible. And to find a true balance. And I think the nature of work is going to change forever after this. And we've made movements towards flexible working and work-life balance in the past, but this is going to push it to a new level. And we're going to realise that we can have a true balance and continue in a better way once this is all blown over. The other benefits I found is just being able to spend more time with my family. I'll be driven crazy, I'm sure, in the next couple of days or weeks, but...
Yeah, it's still early days on that one.
Yeah, it certainly is. But at the moment, we're not killing each other. It's just really nice to be around everyone. We're only a small family, but still I don't see much of them during the week normally. And to spend more time with them is just great.
Well, we haven't seen it locally yet, but there has been a few posts going around saying that in places like Italy, that swans and dolphins have started to swim around places like Venice, where the canals were quite heavily polluted, and because there's not much activity over there, all the water's quite clear. and you can see the fish in the canals and things. So, and also it may be that just generally over the cities of the world, there's a lot less pollution. So maybe when we start building up our activity again, it might be that we'll be able to, see it building up again, the pollution building up again.
Mm-hmm.
And it focuses the mind, I think, more.
The concept of time has changed for us. There is no bedtime, there is no wake up time, there is no time to get anywhere, to go anywhere. We've got no clubs to go to. We don't have to worry about time. We might as well tuck off the clock, just go by the sun.
Finally started to do some more reading, which has been positive for me. So I recently went to see Letters of Note live at the Union Chapel, and this is the music one. So it's letters over history from people throughout the music world, and it's amazing. It's great fun. So I shared one online the other day, which is Keith Richards to his Aunt Patty about meeting Mick Jagger on a railway station.
My unexpected bonus is not being able to get food that you normally eat, so having to get something different and then having to experiment and learn to cook something different. So that's my unexpected bonus. So my kitchen.
That's nice. So are we expecting to see amazing cakes from you that unlike
No, I can't get flour and eggs, but I just made some matir paneer and some dal. So
Well, try and get ground flaxseed if you can, because that's a really good egg substitute.
I've got chia seeds, so that's good for eggs as well.
Yeah.
It's just I've got enough flour to make one cake for Mother's Day. So that's it.
Yeah, my unexpected silver lining is that I will be forced to do my gardening, because I just need to get me and the kid outside. If I can get these pallets sorted, then I can make like a tiered planter that I really want to make.
Oh, lovely. Got seeds, Jess?
I've got seeds. I've got quite a few. They're all propagating at the moment. So I've got my herb garden. There it is. I've just moved, so my herb garden is now in their own individual pots, ready for the planter.
Mm-hmm.
Also now propagating. So time to make the planter.
So for me, I've had a couple of unexpected bonuses. I think the first one is the way that I'm buying the most random things in supermarkets, that I'm learning to cook things that I would never have cooked before. And sometimes that's helped out by friends teaching me to cook over Skype. But yeah, the most weird and wonderful foods I would never have picked up. The other thing is the way people have responded to the sharing posts that I've posted about new children's sessions that I'm setting up to try and earn a bit of income as a person who's lost all their revenue streams and employment. And people I've never even known or forgot I was even friends with from years and years and years ago have been so supportive and sharing everything. And it's that just feels, in the middle of the madness, completely wonderful.
Well, I'm really enjoying slowing down my life and really savouring the small things. So, for example, eating more slowly, I'm eating less and just taking pleasure. I have stopped reading the paper in the morning, which I normally do first thing. That's a really bad way to start the day. I delay it till I feel up to it. And instead I listen to Radio 3, and that's been delightful.
I mean, I probably am having longer and more in-depth and more heartfelt conversations with people over a virtual world than I would be sitting in an actual room with them.
By the way, that was my sister, and she left the chat not long after saying that.
Because we've all had to, in 2 days, switch from totally face-to-face teaching to totally online. So we had 2 days to turn it around. And that was a huge feat of organisation on the part of setting up a platform, then getting the students on board, getting the teachers. But it's really increased the communication between the teachers and the interaction, which we didn't have before, which seems crazy. Because, but we would do our classes, we wouldn't have much time to talk to each other. Everybody went home. Now we're Zooming each other, WhatsApp has gone crazy. Now we've suddenly got the platform set up. Teachers are having to use it. The students are having to get used to the idea. But it gives me, as I really started seeing how different it is working online with children, for instance, young people. They've it's much easier because you can just turn off their mics if they're talking.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, classical control becomes much easier because they're just they're by themselves in their homes or whatever, so they're not chatting to each other in Catalan or in Spanish or whatever, and they're having to listen.
Bet you wish you had that mute button in real life, eh?
Yeah, that's right. It's great. I can just, I haven't had to use anything yet, but I know if they start messing around with the chat box, I can just turn it off.
And finally, just a few from me that came into me today in written form. Terry Fielder says there's going to be some beautiful gardens by the end of it. That's very true. Angie Beckles, my cousin, hello Angie, says finally getting to read some of my huge piles of books. That's a common theme, I think. And John Forrest, drinking alone at home is no longer considered problematic, said John after his 4th morning whiskey. Right, that's it for today's Group Isolation Network. We'll have more unexpected bonuses tomorrow. Please do keep sending me your voice memos, or you can grab me on Skype or Zoom or Zencaster, Google Hangouts, Tinder, Ask Jeeves, Wikipedia, Stick Cricket if anyone remembers that game. Tomorrow will be the pilot episode of our full Friday programme, which, all things being well, will feature a view from Spain and an insight into how the Spanish are finding ways to cope with our shared collective worldwide woes. Okay, until then, don't panic, stay safe, stay healthy and stay happy. Catch you soon. Today's music comes from Gladwags and it's called Social Capital. For more of their stuff, go to freemusicarchive.org.